How do you get a band 8 in IELTS speaking? Let's find out in this interview with Harry. He's a student from the IELTS Speaking Gold course, another success story. He managed to get a band 8. Recently, he's going to share with us the challenges, how he prepared, and some tips for you so you can get closer to your dream score. Let's do it. Great. Harry, great to see you. How are you today?
Yeah, I'm doing great. And you?
I'm very well. Yes, I'm very excited to talk to you about your success with IELTS and your journey through learning and preparing for IELTS as well today.
Mhm.
Um, Great. Let's begin with the IELTS test. Maybe introduce yourself a bit, where you're from and why you've taken IELTS.
Sure. My name is Harry, and I'm from Hong Kong. The main reason why I would like to take the IELTS, it was all because that I would like to be a qualified English teacher. Because according to the EDB, the Education Bureaus, there was a set requirement that requires the teacher to pass all of the papers with band 7 or above. And fortunately, I just got passed for all of the papers with speaking, getting band 8, which is an outstanding score. Yeah,
Fantastic. That's great. Well, listen, congratulations. Yes, you got, I think, a 7.5 overall and an 8 on speaking.
yeah.
Amazing. Really, really good. Did you take the test just one time or several times?
Several times, to be honest. But I learned a lot through the previous attempts, especially some of the parts that I might struggle at that time. And I just treat the strategies and use the appropriate ways to help ace the exam.
Right.
Well,
Great.
for speaking in particular, I would
Yeah.
just learn the proper strategies from your course, and I will tell you a little bit more about that later.
Yeah, that would be great. So you took the IELTS Speaking the Gold course,
Yeah,
and I know you've been a very active person in that course because I've seen you in the Zoom meetings that we have.
yeah,
You comment in the live lessons a lot.
yeah.
Um, Maybe begin. Tell us a bit about the challenges of preparing for IELTS and maybe how the course helped you.
hmm Sure. So there are a couple of challenges that I encountered previously. The first one is that I need to be committed to taking IELTS and practicing every single day. Just take speaking, for instance. I have to really practice at least 1 hour every day. And so I got to have some of my speaking partners to practice together with several questions. So we ask each others and then we just got response or feedback from ourselves. So the commitment is one of the key that I need to stick to myself. Um, Apart from this commitment, I would also want to say that IELTS is quite tricky. Well, by that I mean sometimes I would just face some of the unfamiliar questions,
Mm.
such as coins or competition. This kind of topic I haven't really thought about this before. So how should I do that? You may ask. Um, well, to be frank, I just fortunately gained access to your website, the Gold course, to go through all of the materials and also attended your course, your live lesson, in order to grasp some of the key vocabulary, the idioms, the collocations, and that. So these are the key elements for me to really ace the exam. Yeah.
Mm.
And last but not least,
Mm.
I would like to say the great obstacle would be time management. Well, because in my mother tongue, I tend to say quite a lot, and I would be the person who would be talkative, talking on and on. But for IELTS, because of the time constraint, I got to limit myself for different parts. And you, Keith, you really gave me a great advice on how to really manage your time effectively for different parts of the test. Yeah, so
Yeah,
these are the
absolutely.
yeah great um obstacles that I might face before.
Right. I
Yeah.
mean, that's very, very interesting. I totally agree with the idea of commitment, committing to doing something and being focused on that.
Yes.
The number of topics, as you say, can be overwhelming. And also,
Hmm.
as you say, maybe even in your own language, you think, what would I talk about here about
Yeah.
coins or competition? And time management, yes, because different stages of the test need different length of answers
Hmm.
and controlling that. So you joined the gold course, if I remember correctly, I think summer last year. Is that right?
Ah, yes. At that time, I got to um, prepare for the IELTS simply because I want to pass all of the components of the IELTS test, the reading to speaking. So I got to really devote some time to IELTS preparation. And I know that there are lots of the videos from you shared on YouTube. So basically, I got amazed at the time because I could really learn a lot from a native speaker like you. So I decided to attend your course and pay for it
Mm.
as well. Yeah, and it turned out to be very surprising because every lesson I attend, it was very enriching, especially the idioms. Some of the idioms would be quite new to me. I haven't really learned about this before, so it was really fun and it was really an eye-opening opportunity for me as well.
Right, interesting. So that's in the live lessons we have each month. We have two of those, all on
Yeah,
different
exactly.
topics. Yeah.
Exactly.
Um, I'm interested how you approached your study because in the gold course there are different activities. There's live lessons, there's speaking practice rooms, there's the self study videos. How did you organize your study?
Mhm. All right.
Mm.
So if you are talking about the IELTS preparation, basically, I would just divide my study plan quite systematically. In the morning, I will focus mainly on the input, the reading and the listening. In the afternoon, I will start joining your Go course and to go through each of the videos. But bear in mind, I don't really overwhelm myself by going through all one in one go, but I would just pick some of the videos, well, perhaps two or three videos a single day, so that I could absorb the knowledge organically rather than spoon feeding myself. All right. And well, at night, then it would be a time for me to have the leisure activities, which could be playing mobile games in English, just like
Mhm.
Genshin Impact. Yeah.
Right.
And well, it would be fun because it's time for me to chill out and have some me time at night. So basically, I would just schedule a whole day like this if I have plenty of time. Yeah.
Right. Interesting. Yeah. And so the videos you were watching, two or three videos a day in the self study area. I mean, how did that help you with your speaking?
Hmm. Well, because your goal course has been really organized neatly in part, it can be showed with part one, part two,
Mhm.
and part three, and some of the bonus questions, if I remember correctly.
Mhm.
So for each of the parts, I got to really jot down some of the strategies and some of the tips that you give in the course. Most importantly, I also learned how to pronounce the word because your course would not only provide some of the topic vocabulary, but also the pronunciation sample from you. So as long as I could just mimic the way you speak, it would just help boost or bolster my fluency. And so I think this is the key that I could really improve myself in pronunciation and expanding my vocabulary too.
And what was your experience with kind of connecting with other students, like in the breakout rooms or in other areas?
Mm. Okay, so I think overall speaking, it's a fun experience to have the connection with other people around the world. Not only can I just listen to different accents from people from Vietnam, from other countries, but I could also ask them some of the questions. And I mean, ask each other, ask each other's questions, and then got some of the new ideas. Well, I think this is really not only a fun activity, but also an exhilarating journey for me because, well, just between you and me, I actually got a friend, well, just out of the breakout rooms, and we just help each other out, not only for speaking, but also for writing.
Mm,
So it was really a fun activity to indeed for not just practicing English, but also make some new friends here who could provide emotional support. This is
right.
really important because preparing for IELTS is an arduous journey. So that's why I think having friends would be really a boon in the preparation.
Right, right. Very, very interesting. It's just lovely listening to your English, Harry. It's so
Thank you.
nice. It's great. And it's interesting what you say about the connection, because I've had a few students who say the same thing, that it's not just about practicing English, but they make a connection with others. They then meet up separately on their own, online. Some have even met face to face and become friends. So it's so important, that human connection, right? And that motivation. I agree with that. Um, I'm just going to mention also, because we've talked about speaking, but you've talked about a little bit about writing and reading, because you also followed the course, Eli's course, which is on my website, for the writing. I
Mm.
think Fiona's reading course as well. Um, how was that experience?
Well, I actually learned quite a lot, especially for Eli course, because for his writing course, he provides some of the tips which could just be very effective for organizing the essay. And this would be the key to have a higher score in IELTS writing. And yeah, while for Fiona course, I find her course has a lot of the up-to-date reading materials, just like IELTS 16 or 17. Then if all of the question type will be really up to date, that I would just find lots of the question really related to my preparation as well when it comes to some of the latest IELTS questions like IELTS 18, 19, or 20 nowadays. So they gave me quite a lot of the different perspectives in reading and writing. Yeah.
Yeah, interesting, interesting. That's great. I mean, you got a 7.5 in writing, which is
Yeah, yeah.
extremely difficult to do. So well done, you.
Thank you.
We've talked about preparation. We talked about challenges, your preparation. Thinking about students watching now, and any tips or advice you could give them where you are, what would you say to students?
Mhm. Okay, I think there are three top tips I would just give to fellow students. First of all, it would be having speaking partners if you are preparing for IELTS speaking, because as I said, you need to have some friends who could support you and give you emotional support. That's why it would be a journey for you to just have some of your passions or enthusiasm going on while preparing for IELTS. Yeah, and they would hopefully would just refine your response because they would be the one who notice what mistake you made. So having a speaking partner is one of the tips I would like to give.
Nice.
On top of having speaking partners, I would say build up vocabulary as well as grammar would be essential here. Um, well, because I would just have a habit of jotting down vocabulary every day with a notebook. I can show you here just
Oh, do
a little bit.
yes.
Yeah, yeah, I
Wow.
could. Yeah, and then I would just revise it regularly. Yeah. Um,
Great.
well, on the weekend, so that I would just remember the vocabulary and retain them effectively. Last but not least, I would like to say, because at the very beginning, I shared that I have a habit of reading and listening for leisure. I think these would be a key because learning a language is should be an interesting journey rather than the task that would just make you feel mundane, right? So in that case, to really keep you engaged, you need to find something that would just make you fun, or something, some of the materials that would just crack you up. For me, I would listen to some of the podcasts or watch some of the TV shows like Modern Family. Yeah.
Mm.
And some of the characters are very, very vivid, and they really keep me engaged throughout. And well, to, to be a little bit guilty, I have been watching Modern Family for more than 1 year already. But it was a
You're
fun,
binge watching.
um, yeah, binge watching exactly. And so the more I get exposed to English passively, the more natural my English can be. So I think these are the three top tips I would like to give. Thank
That's
you.
awesome. That's great. Yeah, nice. I'm a big fan of Modern Family, and I did the same.
Ooh,
I binge
cool.
watched about 4 or 5 series over a few months. I got addicted to it. It was so funny.
Yeah, yeah. Well, to be frank, I have just recently finished all of the seasons. Um, well, just recently, and it was really nostalgic because I could see their personal growth, and I could really keep listening to what the speakers or the characters would just say, and this would just help my active listening.
Yes.
This is really important because I could improve not only my listening skills but also how the native speaker would just say in English and mimic them. And that is imperative in preparing for IELTS.
Yeah. When you mimic, do you just repeat the phrases or do you shadow them?
Well, I would shadow them simply, just
Right.
like Gloria. I think some of the expression that she would say was quite exaggerated, especially the adjective, like it was beautiful. And I would just mimic the way, mimic
Yeah.
her expression, the facial expression, as well as the tone and the pitch as well. And that was fun. I mean,
Yeah.
and intriguing. Yeah,
Yeah, that's great. I think that's lovely because I think when you're listening for pleasure is really important to enjoy your learning, but also when you notice things and you repeat things, that all comes together to help you assimilate the language more. It's great.
yeah,
It really is great fun to listen to you speaking. Your ideas, but your language as well is great. You've come a long way with your English. Obviously, as an English teacher, you are very good at English. You're good at teaching. Now that you've got your IELTS, is what will change for you?
Hmm. Well, because I would like to teach in the EMI school,
Right.
unlike the previous school that I taught. So
EMI
basically,
is
EMI, that
English
means English Medium Instruction
instruction.
School.
Yep.
Yeah. So I would like to have the environment in which students would just be concentrated throughout the lesson. And this would just be a big motivator for me to teach and also continue my teaching journey. So yeah, I think as I mentioned at the very beginnings,
Yeah.
the main reason why I took IELTS, it would be equipping myself with a much more advanced English level in order to cope with the future difficulty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fantastic. It's great. You certainly sound like a more confident speaker. Do you feel like a more confident speaker?
well, well, yes, definitely. Well, in the past, I was quite timid in speaking in front of the audience or people
Wow.
because of lack of vocabulary. But throughout the journey of acquiring more and more vocabulary, just like what have showed you guys, jotting down the vocabulary every day, and the more confidence I get because I could just withdraw the vocabulary that I learned the previous days. And this really helped a lot and it bolstered my self-assurance.
Right. Right.
And so that's why I think that joining your course is really a great pleasure for me and an honor for me because I could just learn quite a lot of the great language from your course, but also have the chance to interact with other students who also give me a lot of the great language too.
Right. Yes. Oh, that's so true. You learn from other students as well as from me. That's absolutely true. Um,
Yeah.
that's great. And you have been very, very active. It's been an honor for me actually teaching you and having you interacting in all the activities. I remember you often won the Kahoot games that we played, right? You were often number one there.
I think it's all comes down to the internet connectivity. The I might have the better internet connection compared with others.
Oh, you're
It
too
was just
humble.
really a luck.
You're too humble. I'm going to finish with a few fun questions for you, Harry, if you're happy with that. It's a choice question. It's A or B, just to tell me which one you would choose. And if you want to say why, you can. So the first question is for you, beach or mountains?
Hmm. Well, I would say beach because personally, I would like to have the environment close to the seaside, and I could just look at the sea, which would give me a great sense of tranquility. And
Mm,
I could also see different species, the fish species in particular, like salmon or other kind of fishes. Yeah, and I
right.
think that this was very fun compared with mountain. Well, because I'm not a really sporty guy, and I wouldn't really reach the summit
Right.
or the
Okay.
top of the mountain. Yeah.
Um,
So
tea or coffee?
coffee, definitely, because it would be my great preference, to be honest. And I have a habit of drinking coffee every morning. It is a great boost in my energy. And I couldn't live without coffee, to be honest. Compared
Right.
with tea, I know that it's a great drink with antioxidant, which helps my health in general. But I prefer to drink tea because it helps me recharge my battery and have my energy boost.
Okay. Nice. Films or books?
Films, yeah, because as I said, I am a big fan of different sort of films, especially the blockbusters such as Star Wars or other Disney Plus movies, and I find it quite fascinating. And they really keep me entertained and engaged.
Right.
And for book, I try to pick up some of the books that I'm really into, but I'm at the moment not a bookworm. So
Right. Right.
still, I would prefer to watch movies.
Interesting. Your favorite food?
Sushi, yeah, because
Sushi.
yes, sushi.
Oh,
Do you like
right.
to?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Sushi and
Yeah.
sashimi. Yes.
Well, sashimi too, but sushi because, well, because I'm a um customers or a loyal customers who just patronize Sushiro, which is a very popular brand
Okay.
or the chain store of selling sushi. And especially I would just pick for the salmon and mackerel sushi because they taste really juicy and quite meaty. They give me a great flavor for my mouth.
Wow. You sound like an expert. Final question. Favorite place that you've visited?
um, Osaka. And I went there in 2019, if I remember correctly. It was really fun because it was the first time I went to Osaka. And, well, to be frank, I'm a big fan of anime, Japanese manga as well. So I went there to just stock up different kind of anime related products, such as the Yu-Gi-Oh cards and some of the files with different anime characters. And it turns out to be really a great traveling experience over there. But if you went to Japan, you would definitely know that the toilet would be different from other countries. And when you just press the certain button, it would just shoot. I mean, the water would just shoot, and it would just help clean your.
The toilets.
I mean,
Yes.
it's embarrassing to say here, but it's certain part of the body.
Yes, exactly. They're good at cleaning the bum. Yes, the
Yeah,
Osaka toilets, the Japanese
but
toilets, they're
because
world famous,
because
I
because
think.
I think I don't because I don't know whether it would be cringing to say but. Well, on YouTube live here.
Well, we're all friends here. It's okay, I think.
Yeah,
On that note, let's wind up.
yeah.
Very, very interesting. So great. Thank you for sharing that, Harry. And thank you for sharing your journey through IELTS preparation. I'm sure it will serve as motivation and inspiration for a lot of students, not just in Hong Kong, but around the world as well. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Great. We'll stay in touch and take care. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Great. Bye bye.
Yeah, bye bye.
Thank you so much to Harry for sharing his journey through to IELTS. I'm sure it will be motivation and inspiration for many of you out there, many students and teachers as well. If you want to find out more about the IELTS Speaking Gold course and how it can help you on your preparation for IELTS, there are links down below in the description and in the messages. That's it for today. I hope you've enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. All the best now. Bye-bye.